Get my PowerPoint up here. All right, make sure that's all set. The recording has started. Oh, somebody dropped off there. All right. Okay, so I was just checking in to see how everybody was doing with those oh, there they go. They're back again. Okay, seeing how everybody was going with those mock interviews. Fortunately, everyone did not appear with them. And so, unfortunately, there are assignments associated with those. So besides not getting points for the mock interview debrief, you can't do that. And the thank you letter, those 3 assignments are affected by those. So you're not eligible to get points in those. So if you did not show up, I suggest that you get in touch with the person you're supposed to have that mock interview with and talk to them. We have, we're in the final 4 days. Class ends Thursday at 10 p.m. If you can convince them to do that interview with you, I strongly recommend it because that is a group of assignments there to not be missing, plus the experience. It's a shame to not have that. All right, so we are going to be moving along and share that screen here. Not that one. We are going to be going to this one. Let me switch over to the proper class here. Hold on. We are already getting things set up for the next mod here. And so again, 10 p.m. on Thursday is when the class ends. And that's important. You do not have until 11:59. So on that last night, your attendance assignment does have to be in at that time. And so that is key. So anybody who's used to pushing it out until the very last minute, that is the last minute is at that time. So please be aware of that. That was interesting. Late emailed items or anything that comes in at that time, of course, won't be accepted, can't be accepted. There are no extensions because the class gets cleared out after that time. We submit everything in at that point. So please get that in. The last session will be recorded, okay? So that appears shortly after midnight. I will be sending out a text with the link. So pay attention to this. Hint, hint. The final question will be included with that text. Hint, hint. Does everybody understand that the final question is in the actual text? So the video that goes along with it, that is just to show you how to do the actual final exam. So if you understand how to do the final exam, or you've even completed the final exam before then, all you have to do is wait for that text to come through. I'll be setting that up. So that'll be an automated text that will be coming through around 9 a.m. It'll be set to come out since it's a small class. It should hit you pretty quickly. So you'll be able to open that up, see that question, and be able to answer that and get your attendance early on. I do that so that if you have anything you need to wrap up, you can have the maximum amount of time on that. All right, so everybody's good on that. So I want to make sure that everybody is aware of that because I want them to be able to finish anything that they have open. All right, the weeks 1 and 2, those are completely closed out. That usually does not pertain to anybody. If anybody's missing anything for week 3, I've pretty much been in contact with somebody. I try to open anything I can. Discussions can never be opened. The assignments I cannot open. Anything with the mock interview, if you miss that, unfortunately, I cannot do that. And so, Angel, are you having problems with the connection? I see you kind of going in and out. Are you having problems with the audio? Seem to be having some issues there. You're kind of coming on and off, like you're getting bumped off there. Sometimes that connection comes in bad. Everybody else is good. Everybody's coming in clear. You're hearing everything okay? I mean, I can sing songs from Frozen if you want. I prefer not to. If you've ever been around kids, you know you've heard all those songs forever and ever and ever. I never wanted to see that movie, and now I think it's permanently ingrained in my skull. Okay, so if you're missing something, if I can open it, I will. I'll do anything I can to help anybody out. And Angel's gone again. I don't know what's going on with Angel there. All right. So anyway, going on. Final week, here we are. Let's see what we've got and how you can get through this. Everybody excited about being finished with the class? You should be. It does not bother me. You should be excited about finishing because some of you, this is your last class. You should be getting close to graduation. So yes, be excited, be happy about that. Hopefully you did take it seriously and get those contact cards made. I want you to be successful. These are not just pay attention in this class or don't pay attention in this class. These are legitimate things to make you successful. That choice is yours, okay? That is absolutely your choice on how you want to do your career. I'm giving you what are considered best technique and things that make things more successful for people. And so I don't know what's going on there. Angel's back. All right. So in here we have what's called a professional ethics scenario. Watch this, and it talks about ethics in here and things that happen and rules for behavior. Everybody remember when I asked you about choosing businesses that align with your ethics, things you believe in that? This describes it here, things that may happen that you may not agree with and the behavior of how to deal with that. So that's exactly what happened. I've ended up in situations where I worked for a company that didn't do things that I thought were right. Problem was, I needed the money at the time and I didn't have a job to switch to. What do you do? How do you deal with that? This talks about that. It can be a tough situation. I'm not made of money. I didn't fall out of a rich family. I grew up in the projects. The only thing was I didn't know the projects were bad. That's how poor we were. I thought the projects were a good place. And so if anybody's ever heard of Cabrini Green in Chicago, yeah, I thought that was a great place. I didn't know that was a bad thing. I was delusional. Okay. So that tells you how to deal with things. So listen to that. Leadership skills. Has everybody talked to or has anybody talked to the person in management that they needed to? Has anybody talked to them yet? Wednesday, you're supposed to turn this in, the person. Yeah. Thursday's the end of class, so you have to have everything in. Okay, so I want you to think about this. Somebody asked this in the morning class. Are any of you in a management position right now, a team lead, etc.? Anybody? Anybody a team lead or been a team lead? Nope. All right. I was going to give you another option. Okay, so this is something that happens here. I want you to think about this as you watch these videos, because you need to think about and watch the videos. But I want you to look at it from this point. what is going to happen when you move up and when you become a team lead or a manager and think, how are people going to respect you or disrespect you? You were one of the people. Now you're above them. Things like you can't be running around with them. You have to disassociate a little bit with them because you could lose your job over it, not even be demoted. Now they won't let you go down. You have to leave the company. Um, some people will say, well, if you were my friend, I always love that statement. If you were my friend, one of my best friends was a no call, no show on Christmas at a company. And she came in after the holiday and I said, congratulations, you made it. She goes, yeah, I had to take a few extra days. I said, good, continue taking them. You no longer work here. Fired her. And she goes, well, I thought you were my friend. And I said, I am. So I'm teaching you a valuable lesson. You have an obligation to your job. You knew you had to work. You didn't show, the policy, no call, no show, you're terminated. There you go. She didn't speak to me for years. Years later, when she became a manager, she finally contacted me and apologized. You're going to have to make tough decisions. You have to understand business isn't personal. They're out there to make a profit. And sometimes you have to make decisions you don't like. And people will put you in tough situations. Try to do your best and try not to let your emotions get in the way, but don't get to the point where you are emotionless. Understand the situation where the other person's coming from, but don't let them be disrespectful and don't let them use you. Okay, everybody understand the difference between being respectful back and forth, being reasonable, and people taking advantage. You lose that respect from everybody and you are becoming ineffective. All right. And that's in everything you do. All right. So that's a very good thing. This actually came out of skill sets that students here at Southern Tech actually requested. Okay. The mock interview results, if you did that, you'll be seeing your results come through. Okay, this Q&A, this is where you talk to people who did move into those positions. One of the things, ask them, what was it like the very first time you moved into a position of, how did your friends on the job treat you? What was it like? What did it feel like? Ask those type of questions of people. Don't forget to include the name of the person in your responses. It tells you right here. Make sure you have the name and occupation. Okay, you're going to lose 10% of the score if you don't put that in there. Okay, make sure you answer these questions. Do remember, we do run these through AI checkers. We run them through 6 different ones. That way we're sure that one of them didn't pick things up and say that it was something that it really wasn't. Okay, we don't want to ever, falsely accuse somebody. And so please use your own words and really do the stuff. It's there to help you. If you don't understand something, ask. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. Not looking for perfection. Want to know what you really think, what you really learned. All right. You're valuable. Your thoughts are valuable. Utilize them. Oh, your final career plan, you've worked on this all the way through here. You've done a couple of things. Here's your template. Okay. If you don't download it, you still need to follow the same format. Type it in. My goals. Put your long-term goals. Go back to what you did. You should have written it down somewhere. Put your long-term goals that you've already done. Okay. You did this assignment. Put your long-term goals in here. Now, your skill set, you know what your skills are. You've got them on your resume. You did your resume. Put them right off your resume right here where it says put your skills in, okay? And that includes hard and soft skills. Those are your transferable one. Okay, what is your entry level position? You should know your career. You're getting ready to start of it. What are the entry level positions you can go for? Okay, list them. What should that salary be? List it. You should know what your pay should be. If not, Google it, list it. What should your starting salary be? And what are they looking for? What skills are they asking for? Everybody remember when we looked at those job listings? Remember that assignment where you had to go through and list those job listings? Look for qualifications. Google your career and say qualifications. It will list them, okay? This part here, don't worry about that. But these three, yes, all right? What certifications? Are there other certifications you might need? Is there OSHA? Is there this? Is there that? Anything else you may need or want? What about company training? If you go to work for a company, is there anything? Is there a way to move up? Anything that's in there, list it. If not, put down there's no other opportunities available. But if you put that down, no, we know what opportunities might be available. I'm not asking you to list all of them, but think about what opportunities might there be able to be. I could move up into this position, not asking you to list everything, just a few of them, okay? The part in here that we're trying to do is look at your potential. Everybody has potential, and this lets you know that you can do these things. Okay, you have potential, you can grow. You have that inside you. I want you to realize these things. You have these things, you have these abilities. No excuses. You can do these things. Things do cost money, so put money aside. You can get there. Okay? Real, right here. My sister and my mom graduated college together. They graduated high school together. Now, that may sound strange, but my mom was pulled out of high school by her parents, not because of bad grades, not because of anything. But at the time, at a certain point, that was enough school for girls. They don't need to go any further past this. They pulled every one of their girls when they got to a certain point out of school. That was it. They don't need anymore. They're going to get married and their husband will do everything. Okay, that was real. My mom did get married. She had kids. When my sister got to high school and everything, and she was beginning to graduate, my sister asked her, she goes, "You never tell us when you graduated." And that's when we found out. And we encouraged her to get a GED. She got a GED and then she enrolled in the college, local college, and then she went on and became a nurse. Much later. Now, that's not to brag on my mom or this or that. What that's telling you is you can do things. Don't let anything or anybody stand in your way. Find a way. All right, everybody, find a way. Let's see that. You will find a way. If it's something you really want, you will find a way. I want to see that. Every one of you, promise me you will find a way to do what you want in life. All right, Angel? Yeah, I want to see everybody, Jared, Jonathan, all three of you, because you can do these things. We're always torn down and told we can't, but I'm telling you, you can. It's not easy, okay? All right. Don't let people stop you. If it's something you want, you can do these things. And you don't have to do it for anybody else, but you can do it for you. I know you have family and things like that, but this one's for you. Final exam. I'm going to show you this right here. I'm going to go ahead and go into preview. All right. Oh, I can actually do this as a student now because it's open. Okay. So these are only the chapters after the midterm. Okay. This does not go back all the way to the beginning. All right. So you come in here and let me move this out of here. Here's the orange button. It says take the quiz. I had to find my button on my screen. Just like the midterm, some of it's going to be matching, and then some of it's going to be just, check off things. Some of it will be short answers, same thing. If when you're finished, your grade's going to be at its lowest point. Some people did the 5-point bonus last week with the headshot. If you did that at the end, I'll be adding 5 points to your score. If you didn't do it last week, you don't get the 5 points. All right. So there we go. That's as simple as it gets. Um, and there we go. There is no time limit. There is up here on the main page underneath the help, just like on the midterm, there is a final exam study guide. Just click on that. It will pop up. You can have it up on another screen. You can have multiple sessions open in Canvas so you can switch back and forth. Here it comes. No watermark here. You can just read it easy peasy. I took that out. So everything that is on that exam will be here. All right. Any questions so far? We good? All right. Okay. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get this started down here. See where things are going to appear. Give me 1 second. Put this up so that goes to the right screen here. There we go. Now I got it on the right one. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier in the class, imposter syndrome. This is kind of a fear that a lot of us get. Not everybody, but a lot of us do. Let me make sure my pen's working. There we go. Okay, so this is typically us over here. Okay, when we start our jobs, this is our biggest fear, that we feel like this is us. This is all we know, and everybody else knows all of this. But in reality, this is us here, and we know sections of things everybody knows, plus all this in the center. Okay. Now, if you notice, everybody knows a little bit of other stuff. Okay. We all share something. Nobody knows it all. You are good enough. Everybody's good enough. Everybody's got things that they know and things they share. Okay. Don't have this fear that you're not going to make it. Does anybody have this fear? They're scared about this. Maybe scared's not that, but you're hesitant about going and trusting that you can do this. Does anybody have that? Usually people do. Yeah, you're good. All right. And so, but that's called imposter syndrome. It also happens when you take on a new role or move into a higher position. Okay, so we're going to talk about the first day on the job. We're going to talk about that typical first day performance evaluations. People have issues. They're not quite sure exactly how these work, even though it's something that happened. Those a lot of times first day's overwhelming. Anybody ever get overwhelmed on that first day? You have a lot of people to meet. You got to know the facility. You need to be positive on that first day. Okay. And so that's something to keep in mind is it can be a little bit overwhelming and that's normal. You have all these people to meet, they have one person. All right. And you're going to be given paperwork. And so anybody else hate the first day besides me? Nobody? Okay. So that's going to be your question for today, right there. What is your biggest first day anxiety? And I want you to explain that in detail. All right. So that's what that's going to be. Now we're going to go back here to this. Now, on that first day, you're probably going to be asked to sign an I-9 form. Now that I-9 form is the form that is what makes it it's your verification that you are authorized to work in the United States. Okay? Everybody got that? It's not something that you have to sign within so many days. This form has to be signed in front of a human resources officer or a human resources representative. That is what they use to verify that you can work here in the United States and it cannot be taken home. It has to be signed in person. Everybody got that? Okay, the W-4 form. That is your tax form that tells you what the taxes are going to be taken out of. And so that is based on the number of dependents and your marital status. Okay. And then any benefits forms, they may have you log on to do those, or they may have you take those home. Usually benefits begin somewhere between 30, 60, and 90 days. All right. Now, your first day, make sure you do arrive on time, greet your coworkers with a smile, make sure you're pleasant with them, have a positive attitude. You're there, you got the job, you want to be part of the team. Make sure if you meet the supervisor, make sure you sound like you really want to be there. That's what you want to be. If you have questions, this is the time to ask, or they're going to think that you know. All right. Everybody good? All right. Now, remote workers does not necessarily mean that you are working online. Remote workers are also people in the trucks, people in the fields, things like that. People don't think exactly what remote workers are. And you could be working in a building away from the main one. Make sure you create those dedicated workspaces so that you have the ability to do your job. You're probably going to have to do onboarding, watch videos, see how the companies run, learn about the mission statement, values, and all that. I've worked more than one company, different businesses, big trucking I've worked. Okay. I've worked in weld shops. I've worked in different companies. When we answered the phone in some of the companies, if we did not state the mission statement, first time was a write-up, second time we were fired. It did not matter how good we were. The owners like to hear their mission statements. It was very, very strange and very high stressed. One of them it was a long mission statement, and I did not have a very good recollection of it at all. Establish routines that helps you get the basics out of the way. Learn how to set up your area that you can work effectively. Learn how to communicate effectively. Okay. Don't expect people to go over things multiple times. They're not there to keep your calendar for you. Many places they're going to tell you, here's your instructions, take these, go get your supplies, go do this, here's your deadline. And you're expected to keep your own calendar, your own time frames, etc. They'll check back with you. And if you're not at certain checkpoints on those projects, don't be surprised if you're pulled off and sent home. It's not their responsibility to keep track of you. Okay. It's a little bit different than going to an hourly job where if you don't finish, somebody comes in and takes over. Being working in an environment with more of project oriented situations, things like that, that's a little bit different. Or you're in a situation where you stop, you have to turn everything over to another person and you have to tell them exactly the status of everything, such as in a vet's office or medical assisting. You have to give a status on every single patient in both of those situations. So communication's key. Okay. You can do this again, the smiling, so you enunciate and project. Um, you can do it. It's a little nerve-wracking if you're on the shy side, but remember these people are you're speaking one-on-one. Even if there's other people in the room, you're one-on-one. Take care of your physical and mental health. You don't do it, your body will. Okay? Been there, done that. Okay? Heart attack, been there, done that. It was almost at the end of the class. It was on a Friday. Luckily, we don't have classes on Friday. Uh, wasn't feeling good. Went to the ER. Told me I was having a heart attack. Ended up pacemaker, everything. Held a live class in my room. Used a virtual background so that I could hold the class in the hospital because it was almost the end of the class and I wanted to make sure that the students were able to finish. Okay. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. Okay. I took physical time off and I learned how to take away time, take away stress using time management. You can do things, but learn to say no, learn to turn things down, learn to limit. Everybody got that? You got to learn. You got to learn time management. Running without time management is not the way to go. Okay. Now, during your new hire training, you might be one person or you might be a bunch of people. You might be a bunch of people connected just like this, not necessarily in person. This is why virtual training at school is a great way to get used to it because you might be getting all your instructions in companies, depending on how big they are and how big the projects are, virtually. It is becoming a big thing all over. Part of you are going to be working out in fields, things like that, not inside a building, and you're going to have to get information sent to you via live feeds. Okay, so being able to adapt online is a great thing. When you're there during your training, make sure you're asking things like, what if I have to come in after hours? How do I get in? When's the building open? Things like how do I use the telephone system there if I have to? What do I do for lunches, breaks? Where do I go? Can I have food here? Can I not? Is anybody in this class in vet assisting? Anybody going into animal care at this one? Sometimes I have them in the night classes, sometimes I don't. Nope. Okay. Not relevant then here. Okay, so make sure you know where and how to do everything. Do you have to check in with people on progress on where you are? Things like that. Make sure you're updating your social network, your LinkedIn accounts. Let them know you're now working here or things like that. Don't be surprised if your boss doesn't check. They want to see their name being utilized. Now, your performance evaluation, besides telling you, are you going to get a raise? It's much more than that. It's also kind of a wake up call if you're not doing well in an area, but it's also a way for them to tell you how good you're doing. Now, a big thing right now is they are giving evaluation forms to your coworkers so that they get feedback on how well they think you're doing. So your coworkers get to rate you as well. This also lets them know how well you're communicating with your coworkers. If there's any issues, are you being a bully? Are you not talking to them? Are you really a team player? Are you pulling your weight? So even though work is being done, are you doing your fair share? So they're going to take a look at everybody's evaluation. It also could indicate that somebody's trying to bully you. Somebody's trying to make you look bad. So these are things that can help you out too, because it's a way they kind of assess everybody at the same time. Now, performance evaluations are typically done annually or quarterly, and so they may not always be associated with raises. Okay. Now, some companies they work on contracts, and so an evaluation might be determined as to which contracts you work on. More value contracts because you may get bonuses based on it. If you do better on your evaluations, you might get those higher contracts. All right. So workspace etiquette, since you're going to be sharing spaces, things to remember when using your phone, keep your voice low. Don't be one of these people that sits there with their phone out in front of them, shouting into the microphone. Never understood this. Use headphones if you're allowed to. Um, it's just rude. Make sure you silence or use when you're or turn off digital devices. Some places it's just not safe. A lot of the welding and electrical areas of that, any type you have anything with electronics in there and that can cause arcing. So you can actually electrocute yourself. So you got to be careful. Make sure everything is clean, organized, and uncluttered. Personal items are put away. Food and beverages you may not be able to have. Phones you may not be able to have. They don't have to let you have a phone. They can tell you no phones are allowed at work. They don't have to let you have one. No law says they do. Even if you have kids, things like that, nope. They can call the main office. If it's an emergency, they can put the call through or tell you to go call so and so. But no, they do not have to legally let you have a phone. And that is a shock to some people because we're so married to them. But no. Um, People I know who work for Toyota, you have to take everything out. And if you're allowed to have a phone, they give you a rubber based phone all the way around, no cameras, and they are pre-programmed with certain phone numbers you're allowed to have, and they let you know your phone calls are monitored if you use the phones. Phones are rubber so that you cannot damage any automobiles going through the production line. You want to work there, you want to get top dollar, you agree to it. Workspace, falling hazards, number one problem. People leave drawers open. Somebody comes by, trips over them. Cords left out across walkways, things like that. Falling hazards are the number one things. Do not stand on chairs, boxes, stuff like that. To reach things, use proper ladders, etc. Lifting hazards. Bend at the knees, not at the waist to pick things up. Use carts and stuff to move things around. You're not impressing anybody. Nobody cares what you can lift, okay? So, be careful with that. Material storage hazards, that's not just chemicals and things like that. That's putting too heavy of objects up on top of things, not stacking things properly, besides storing chemicals incorrectly. Other things that you can watch for, ergonomics, that's this, sitting upright. This is going across here, keeping your feet supported, your eyes look straight across so that your elbows are also straight across. This is not how I sit. I sit like the letter O. I have very poor posture. Don't do what I do. This is how you prevent injuries, and that is what we are looking for. All right. And there we go. And I already covered the question earlier in the slides so that we got that out of the way. And that is everything for tonight. And we will see you tomorrow, and we will in our final 3 days. You all have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow.